Hello again, everyone. Today I'm going to be swatching 3 new to me inks. 2 of them are Sailor inks and 1 is a Taccia ink. Again, I've already taken them out of the boxes, but I thought I would start with the boxes because especially this one is really quite pretty. I believe this is called the Artist Series by Taccia. This particular ink is Ume Marasaki, and it's this really lovely color that's similar to this. So I'm going to put that off to the side. That is this one. And then I have a Sailor Ink Studio 252, which is another pink ink. Again, I'm kind of on my pink ink kick. And then this one is the only ink that I have purchased from the Sailor States series for each state in the United States. And it is Georgia. I have seen some swatches of different colors online, and this is really the only one that was of any interest to me so far. Also, because they are kind of expensive per milliliter. I mean, it's such a small bottle, and this is like $25 for this. So, so I haven't wanted to get the whole series, and as I may have mentioned before, I really don't need any more ink, but you know, nonetheless, I keep getting more ink. But I'm going to be swatching these 3 for you today. So I'm going to get these upright, and then I'm going to get out my ink swatch book that I'm always using. And I will put a link to the video where I go through the setup of this Chic Sparrow notebook. And we should have some pages already ready here. So I think what I'll do is I'll put the Sailor down here, and then I'll put the 2 pinks on the next page. And as you can see, I already have some other inks. These are in a prior video that I swatched for you. Okay, so let's see, what's the best way to go about this? And I do have my tools, my normal tools here. This is a 3A automatic pen. The link to this pen is in the setup video that I'll link below. And then I'm also using this Moonman glass dip pen, which is a little portable glass dip pen. And that is not in the original setup video, so I will put a link to that as well. And I have a little bit of water off to the side and a paper towel so that I can clean the tools between each inking. All right, boy, I'm a little discombobulated here. With my new setup, it's a little different. So this is, like I said, the Sailor Georgia. It's one of those inks that I would call sort of funky, but in a good way. It has some really interesting shading going on, and I really like it. The shading and the difference in colors don't really show up that great in writing because I've already put this in a pen, but it does show up super interesting in these swatches here. And if you have it in a broader nib, it will show up pretty well. There you go. So I'm sure there is a reason for why each color was chosen for each state. Like for Colorado, where I live, they've already released that, and that's a purple color, which is the color of the state flower, the columbine. So that kind of makes sense, but I don't know why Georgia is this color. If anyone knows, let me know. You can still see some of the shading there. So this is, oops, looks like I'm gonna need some more ink. Like I said, I don't want to completely load this up because I don't want to have a bunch of ink left over on the pen. Okay, there's that one. I'm going to go ahead and close that bottle up. I'm going to leave it there just so that that can hold the page open while I'm drying my and rinsing off my tools over here. You can see that drying a little bit. And then I'm going to go over here. I will show that again towards the end and put it up to the camera, but I'm going to move over here for these 2 other inks. This is Sailor Ink Studio 252. And there are so many Sailor Ink Studio inks, and basically I just kind of wait until there is, I see some swatches somewhere that I like, or, you know, someone just happens to be talking about the color, and if I look it up and I really like it, I'll get it, but I'm not really on a, I'm not really on a quest to collect all of these either. So this one is actually pretty similar to one of the pinks that I got recently from Birmingham Pens. I'll see if I can find it after I've done these swatches to kind of show you a little bit of a comparison. But it's definitely a dirty pink with some shading, which I like. Again, this is Sailor 252. Let's go ahead and call this Ink Studio. Okay. And I don't have the pens out right now that I have this inked in, so I can't really show that to you. One thing that I have been experiencing with this light overhead is a little bit of glare, but hopefully that will reduce itself a little bit once that sample has dried a little bit. All right, so let's go back to this Taccia ink. And this is, again, sort of a dirty purple pinkish color. It almost looks green in the bottle or in the bottle cap, but it is, it doesn't look that color when it dries. I find it very interesting that companies have been favoring these sort of grungy looking pinks and purples, which is kind of neat. I like them. But you really do need to pay attention when you swatch these because they are very different when they dry from when they're wet. Okay. Let's see. There's no happy medium. I either put it in there too lightly or too heavily. This is Taccia. Oh, this doesn't have the name. Here, it's on the bottle cap. I'm gonna go ahead and close this up. It's called Murasaki. And as you can see, that Sailor 252 is already pretty much all dry, and except for this corner over here. And it definitely looks a lot different, much more different than it did when it first was put down. And Sailor Georgia is already dry. I think I would call this sort of a green gray, maybe. I mean, it's really a lovely color. I like these sort of grungy colors, so this is right up my alley. And these are pretty much dry too. What I am going to do, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, and then I'm going to go back and see if I can find those Birmingham inks that are similar. Okay, here we go. Actually, so it's kind of interesting. So this one is definitely a little bit more on the purple side than the pink side. This is more on the pink side, and it's basically just like a muddy color. But if you look back here, these are different, but I would say Birmingham Chrysanthemum, which actually is one of my favorite Birmingham inks, I have it in a lot of different pens, is very similar to Ink Studio 252, but I think they are different enough. This one is probably a little bit more pink, and again, this one leans a little bit more purple, at least in this light that we're in now. And this Birmingham Mountain Laurel is even pinker still. So there we go. And none of them are like this Ume Murasaki. Okay. And I don't know of any ink that I have that is like this Sailor Georgia. It's really quite unique, I think. It's very interesting. So someone was asking me a question about whether I knew of any blue inks that didn't have red sheen, or sheening blue inks that didn't have red sheen, that had some other color of sheen. And I actually had to go back and look through my samples because I don't think I'd really put together, because I love red and blue together as a color combo, so I just always liked it. But I realized that there really isn't an ink that is sheening in blue that has a different sheen other than red. and vice versa, red with a blue sheen. Although this one, Diamine Communication Breakdown, that has a different color sheen on a red ink, but yeah, with blues it's pretty much all red sheening for the most part of one tone or another. So very interesting. I am surprised that I didn't notice that. The only one that I thought might be slightly different is this Colorverse Quasar. It looks like it almost has a brown sheen, but still, that's kind of still in the reddish family. But anyway, I found that very interesting as an observation. Sometimes, you know, I'm just looking at things in individual inks and not doing a lot of comparisons. I have been doing more swatches on my Cola ring here of different inks. It takes a while for me to catch up, and I have so many different inks to catch up on here because inks do look pretty different on these, but I haven't been doing them in conjunction with the swatches in the book just because it does take a little while to do them both at the same time. So I haven't been doing that, but actually let me know in the comments down below which you prefer to see in swatching if I'm only going to be doing one. Do you prefer in the book or do you prefer on the Cola ring? This is Tomoe River paper, so I think if you have Tomoe River paper, this is what the colors are going to look like on that paper. Whereas this is more, it's a different depiction of what colors are going to look like, and I don't think a lot of writing paper looks like this. So is this thick, basically. But just let me know what your preference is. I may need to catch up a little bit with that preference if I've already filmed some videos with some swatchings, but I'm just curious as to which you'd prefer. All right, well, that's all I have for you today. Feel free to subscribe to keep track of future videos on my channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. I hope to see you next time, but in the meantime, have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.